Good morning. Thank you for joining us to learn all about MNPS Pre-K. My name is Marichelle Bonifacio, and I am the MNPS Early Learning Community Outreach Specialist. Joining us on today's call are Phyllis Phillips, MNPS Director of Pre-K Programs, and Holly Stone, MNPS Early Learning Professional Development Coordinator, who will both be presenting, and Lori Fleming, MNPS Early Learning Program Coordinator, who will be moderating our Q&A. Today, we will be providing information on MNPS's Pre-K Virtual Learning Program. In the future, we'll be hosting other topics as part of the All About MNPS Pre-K web series. You can use the moderated Q&A feature on the right-hand side of your screen to submit your questions during today's call. Before we get started, we wanted to provide a quick overview on the Microsoft Teams live event, which is the platform we're using for today's event. Remember to use the Q&A box to ask any questions, and please note that questions are moderated and will not appear instantly. Only ask a question once, and also your answers may be delayed. We will also provide Q&A time at the end of the presentation. Questions about in-person learning will not be the focus of today's discussion. However, we will be discussed in future live events. On today's live event, we'll be focusing on virtual learning. Some questions will need to be directed to your child's teacher or school's principal. Also, if your computer happens to freeze during today's presentation, try exiting and re-entering. Also, the Spanish, Arabic, and Kurdish version of the slide presentation is available through the web links that are found right now in the Q&A box.
Good morning. I'm Phyllis Phillips, MNPS Director of Pre-K Programs, and I'm excited to welcome you to the MNPS Pre-K program. Today, we will provide an overview on the MNPS Pre-K program, dive into what Pre-K virtual learning will look like for students, provide a list of the technology platforms that will be used for Pre-K virtual learning, review additional program information, and then we will end with an opportunity to answer questions from attendees. Currently, MNPS has 189 Pre-K classrooms across Davidson County, which serves 3,300 students. MNPS provides a quality Pre-K program. In a quality program, you develop the whole child, which means academic and social emotional development that is appropriate at the child's level. The program emphasizes positive interactions between children and their teachers, peers, and environment. Although we are starting the year virtually, we expect to deliver a quality Pre-K program. Most of our classrooms use creative curriculum. It's a high-quality based curriculum which provides diverse learning environments where activities are driven by the students. Teachers encourage and support children to play and explore as a path to learning. The curriculum integrates literacy, math, and social emotional learning. Please note that our Montessori school virtual learning and curriculum is different than the curriculum you will hear about on today's call. However, much of the information about programming will apply. Students attending Hull Jackson and Stanford Montessori sites only, please check the Q&A box for a web link to a sample student schedule for Montessori preschool, pre-K, and kindergarten students. Montessori families will receive more information about the Montessori program from your child's classroom teacher in the coming weeks. Pre-K is a voluntary program, meaning that it is not a mandatory requirement to attend pre-K. However, we want families to know that research shows that pre-K does help to prepare children for kindergarten. Since it's a voluntary program with limited seats, we do have an application process. The MNPS Pre-K program serves children 4 years of age with some exceptions.
Good morning. I'm Holly Stone, MNPS Early Learning Professional Development Coordinator. I'm going to provide you with an overview of pre-K virtual learning for the opening of schools. Daily lessons and activities will last for 15 minutes or less at any one time. We provide this guideline so that the length of lessons is developmentally appropriate for our young students. This is the same guidance we use in our pre-K classrooms in typical learning environments as well. All MNPS pre-K classrooms will follow the same unit of study. Each study investigates a focused topic while including learning opportunities to develop math, literacy, and social emotional skills. For example, in the clothing study, students might discuss differences and similarities in clothing from different countries or from different professions. They would read books about clothing and have a question of the day that is related to the clothing study. The technology platforms that will be used for pre-K virtual learning are Flipgrid, Microsoft Teams, and Teaching Strategies. Learning opportunities will happen in both synchronous and asynchronous formats. During the synchronous opportunities, students will connect with their teachers and peers in real time like a video chat. During asynchronous learning opportunities, students will work at their own pace on activities. Teachers will also meet virtually with each family weekly. Your child's teacher will be reaching out to you to schedule a time for weekly one-on-one virtual meetings. Please note that teachers return to work this Thursday and will be in the process of receiving their rosters so they can contact families. Teachers have been participating in trainings over the summer in order to prepare for virtual learning, and they will be in touch with you as soon as possible, either later this week or early next week. Technology devices will be available to MNPS pre-K students. We ask that if you already have a device at home at the beginning of school, please use that device until one is assigned to you from MNPS. However, if you do not have a device, MNPS will be providing additional information on how to obtain a device for virtual learning. Here's an overview on the teacher-led instruction that will be provided to pre-K students. Each school day, students will receive the following. There will be a synchronous whole group time. This means a teacher will conduct a real-time meeting with all students in the class. This will be used to discuss the curriculum study topic and help students get to know one another. Students will also have a synchronous small group lesson. During this time, a teacher will conduct a real-time lesson with a smaller group of students from the class. Students will have access to an asynchronous Flipgrid read aloud and short lesson on literacy foundational skills. The teacher will record a read aloud lesson on Flipgrid for students to access, as well as the short lesson on literacy foundational skills. Students will record a short video response back to the teacher. There will also be an asynchronous Flipgrid math lesson. The teacher will record a math lesson on Flipgrid for students, and the students will record a response video. This will provide approximately 1 hour of teacher-directed instruction per day, which is broken up into shorter lessons in order to meet the needs of our young students' attention spans. However, the learning does not stop there. Teachers will provide family extension activities weekly to facilitate learning beyond teacher-directed lessons. Students will also have a virtual one-on-one with their teacher once a week. This provides a great opportunity for the child to build a relationship with their teacher, as well as an opportunity for families to connect with their child's teacher. Parents and guardians should supervise students during their virtual learning experience. We do want families to know that the schedule described here might be adjusted by the teacher in certain situations. Here's an outline of a pre-K student's suggested daily schedule. Students will have 1 hour of direct instruction with their pre-K teacher. This is the synchronous and asynchronous learning opportunities that we just reviewed, spread out during the day. 1 hour spent on breakfast and lunch conversations. This is a great opportunity to focus on conversations with your child, which builds your child's language skills and vocabulary. 30 minutes of playing outside when weather permits. Outside is an amazing and exciting learning space for your child. Gross motor development is very important for children, and they are also very curious about the natural world, which makes outside play the perfect time for exploring and investigating. 1 hour and 30 minutes of free choice play, where your child can lead their own learning through play. 30 minutes spent with family members reading books with them. 30 minutes of an art or music activity, and 30 minutes of teaching strategies, curriculum study activities. Please note that your child's teacher will provide activity ideas to support your child's schedule. Also, there are many learning opportunities at home that can support your child's learning, such as cooking together, which provides your child the opportunity to count and measure, sorting laundry by color, or taking a nature walk outside to discuss the differences and similarities in flowers and plants. Again, teachers will provide you with activity ideas like this to support your child's learning throughout the day. Now let's take a look at the technology platforms that will be used during pre-K virtual learning. Each platform is free for families to use and can be accessed via computer, cell phone, or tablet. Families will be utilizing the following platforms. First, Flipgrid. Flipgrid will be used to provide asynchronous virtual instruction to pre-K students. In Flipgrid, educators post discussion prompts and students respond with short videos. Students log into classes with their MNPS credentials. Flipgrid classroom codes will be provided by your child's teacher. Microsoft Teams. Microsoft Teams will be used to provide synchronous instruction to pre-K students in real time. Microsoft Teams can be used to connect through video, audio calls, chat, document sharing, and screen sharing. Students can log into their account with their MNPS credentials. Microsoft Team information will be provided by your child's teacher. And Teaching Strategies. Teaching Strategies is a website where teachers can share curriculum-related activities with families and communicate about students' progress. Further information will be provided by your child's teacher. Please note that many of the resources above require MNPS student login credentials. If families need help logging into any of their school accounts or resetting their password, they can call the MNPS Help Desk at 615-269-5956. And starting yesterday, families that speak a language other than English can receive technology assistance by calling 615-259-8787. MNPS will have an interpreter and technology support specialist ready to assist you. I'm now going to reach out to Lori Fleming to see if we have some questions in our question box.
Yes, we do, Holly. Should parents expect to sit side by side with students during all synchronous learning because they'll be working at home as well?
So during synchronous learning, your child definitely will need supervision in terms of having an adult there to make sure that they are staying safe while they are participating in the synchronous activity. However, parents may or may not be able to sit directly with their child during that time. We would definitely encourage you, if you are able to engage with your child, because they can get a lot out of it with some support from an adult's help beside them. However, it would not be required that you sit side by side with them. What we do want to make sure is that there is an adult supervising them during this time.
Thank you, Holly. Next question. My child was not registered for MNPS Pre-K. Can we register for the Pre-K virtual learning?
Yes, that would depend on the vacancy at the school site. Families can certainly still apply for pre-K. They can choose up to 7 schools, and students are selected as vacancies occur.
Thank you, Phyllis. My child is enrolled in a child care facility due to work conflicts. I do not want to give up my pre-K seat. However, what if she misses synchronous learning?
Great question. We want to encourage all families to attend pre-K. So if you are a working family, I believe we can work with you on enrolling your child and your child maintaining their seat. You can definitely participate in asynchronous learning. and maybe work with your teacher through email or one-on-one phone calls. But please know that you are still welcome to enroll and participate in virtual learning, but yours will be asynchronous.
Okay, thank you. I have a pre-K student who's on the waiting list number 58 at Lakeview Elementary. Does that mean that I have to wait until she's up on the list to sign her in and do all of this?
Yes, we do have a number of families on wait lists that are waiting for spots, and we accept students as they appear on the wait list. So families can either choose to add additional sites to up their chances to get in, or in this case, we would have to wait until your child's number is available.
Next question, what about a child with an IEP?
So children with IEPs can, families with a child with an IEP can reach out to the Exceptional Education Department. In fact, the Exceptional Education Department will be having a live event tomorrow, and families can find access to that event on the MNPS website at www.mnps.org.
All right, next question. What if I need to have my child evaluated for speech or other learning delay?
Families can contact the Exceptional Education Department. There is a department that's called Child Find. And I must apologize, I don't have the number right off, but families can visit the website or call the Family Information Center. At the end of this presentation, you'll see a contact information slide that will give you the information to the Family Information Center, where you can get the direct number to Child Find.
All right, and the last question for this portion, and we'll take up with additional questions at the next section. Are there attendance requirements for the live events?
So for the attendance, and this is Holly speaking now, for attendance, for you to be counted as having attended that day, there just needs to be participation in one of the learning activities from pre-K. So that may be the synchronous opportunities through Microsoft Teams, that may be asynchronous opportunities through Flipgrid, or it may be both, which you really get the most out of the program if you're able to participate in both the synchronous and asynchronous. However, your attendance would be counted if you are only able to do one or the other. So if you are not able to attend the live events, but you still are able to do the Flipgrid portion, the asynchronous portion, that would count for your child to have attended that day.
All right, and we will answer additional questions in the question box at our next section.
I know there are other key program areas that pre-K families have questions on, and hopefully this section can cover those areas. The MNPS Pre-K program is a voluntary program, and tuition normally ranges from $0 to $144 per week based on family income and the sliding scale fee structure. During virtual learning, MNPS has reduced fees by 25% for each family's fee, lowering the maximum cost to $108 per week. Remember, the fee is based on a sliding scale, where the number of people in your household and annual income will be taken into consideration. Please note that some families will not have to pay based on their income. That's why it's important that you upload a copy of your updated income verification document with your child's application. We know that income may have changed since you originally submitted your child's application. We want every child attending pre-K and will work with your family to ensure your income information is correct. School attendance is important at every grade level, including pre-K. During virtual learning, attendance is mandatory. Attendance will be taken through the pre-K virtual platforms Flipgrid and Microsoft Teams. When your child participates in a virtual lesson, whether asynchronous or synchronous, their attendance will be counted. Pre-K will follow the district's attendance policies during virtual learning. At this time, we cannot hold pre-K seats for any family that chooses not to participate in pre-K virtual learning. If a family does not participate in virtual learning, they will need to withdraw. We cannot hold seats because we have many families on wait lists who want to participate in the pre-K program. But remember, you can participate, your participation may be synchronous or it may be asynchronous, although we encourage both. If families do withdraw from the MNPS Pre-K program, they can reapply and applicants will be placed as vacancies occur. We have several program and virtual learning FAQs on the MNPS Early Childhood Education webpage, which can be accessed at www.mnps.org/early-childhood-education.
As Phyllis just mentioned, we have additional information to support your child's pre-K virtual learning experience. The virtual learning FAQ for families includes information on your child's virtual learning experience, attendance, and pre-K fees. We also have a virtual learning tech platforms overview, which reviews the technology platforms that we discussed today and provides a space for you to write in your access information. Both items can be found on the department webpage on the MNPS website at www.mnps.org/early-childhood-education. Again, your child's teacher will be connecting with you on additional resources. Also, please make sure your contact information is updated with MNPS to receive upcoming information. MNPS and some school sites are also on social media platforms such as Facebook and Twitter, so you may want to follow them on social media. MNPS has several additional resources and at-home activities you can utilize to help prepare your child for pre-K. Here are just a few of the resources to support your family. MNPS has a Countdown to Kindergarten website that has great activities and lessons you can do at home. The website is www.mnps.org/Countdown to Kindergarten. The MNPS Summer Activity Guide is also available on the Countdown to Kindergarten website, and that has 28 pages of activities that you can do to support at-home learning. We encourage you to follow at MNPS Pre-K on Facebook and Twitter. Through social media, we provide additional information and tips to support your learning experience.
If you have any questions, here's contact information that you can use to assist you. Also, we recommend that you visit the website below, since most of the information we share today is on that webpage. You may also want to take a photo of this slide so you have the contact information with you. Now let's begin the Q&A portion of today's call. Lori, do we have any additional questions?
We do. Will MNPS consider a payment plan option? Most parents will be paying 2 child care fees, child care and MNPS Pre-K. Can MNPS reconsider waiving those fees?
Oh, thank you for that, Lori. We get a lot of those questions that are pertaining to fees, and if each individual family would just reach out to us at the Early Learning Department email address that you see on the screen, we will definitely work with each family. We want each child attending pre-K, and we will definitely work with your family.
All right, next question. Can you give a little bit of information as to how the decision about the 75% of fees being paid by parents were made, and did parents have input into that decision?
So the district applied the current tuition assistance rate of 25% and applied it across the board to every family. The decision was made by leadership and taken into consideration for that all families are facing uncertain times, and the decision was made to apply the tuition assistance, and it was applied across the board. Lori, are you on mute?
I'm sorry. If I'm working, does my child have to be dropped from childcare?
And so I'm assuming on that end, I don't think your child has to be dropped from childcare, especially since we're counting attendance, whether they participate synchronously or asynchronously. So in my opinion, I don't think you'd have to drop your child from childcare.
Will the teacher lessons be recorded in case my child is napping during class time?
The pre-K teachers will be reaching out with families to talk to you about your schedule, so that things like your child's nap time or your child's lunch time, or maybe there's a certain time that you will have work obligations that you would not be available. Your teachers will be reaching out with you, and they'll be discussing kind of your schedule and what might work best. And so they will be working their schedule hopefully around times that might work for you, especially for those things like one-on-ones with your child or small groups with your child.
My friend is unable to apply for her child at this time. Is there a way I can sign her son up to receive virtual learning?
So I'm trying to think of this in terms of the enrollment centers. We do require that the parent or guardian, legal guardian, apply and enroll their child into MNPS. So my response is probably the parent or the legal guardian would have to enroll the child.
Since school will be virtual until September, am I still required to bring a copy of the shot records prior to August the 4th?
Yes, the enrollment centers are reaching out to families, and school sites are reaching out to families and informing them of what documentation is missing, and the health department is still requiring that shot records are kept up to date.
Okay, so if I'm understanding this correctly, if a child is logging on either synchronously or asynchronously, learning on Flipgrid, that will be enough to maintain good standing and count as present for attendance, even if the child is in a child care program outside of the home because the family needs to work. Please confirm that that is correct.
That is correct.
Okay, how can a family get code access for Flipgrid?
Your child's teacher will provide the code for the classroom once they are in contact with the families who are on their classroom rosters.
All right, Maricel, can you talk a little bit about how parents will have access to this information and the PowerPoint afterwards?
Sure. So right now, the Arabic, Kurdish, and as well as Spanish slide deck is on the Countdown to Kindergarten YouTube channel that we have. But later on this afternoon, this live event that we just recorded will be available through that same YouTube channel, as well as we're going to have a social media post on the MNPS Pre-K Facebook page. So just follow us at MNPS Pre-K, and you should be able to see that post later this afternoon.
Are there any supports for ESL students?
So the ESL supports start when a child enters kindergarten, but I will say that a lot of our pre-K teachers or all of our pre-K teachers have strategies that will assist in helping children learn English and to build a vocabulary. Each year we enroll a number of students who speak a second language, and I will tell you by the end of the year, many of them are speaking English very fluently.
Okay, is there a time frame that we have to participate to be counted for attendance that day?
For asynchronous learning, you will just need to participate sometime before midnight of that day. And so up until 11:59 p.m., if you participate in the Flipgrid, which means posting a response video to the Flipgrid, you will be counted for attendance for that day.
Is there a dress code for the live classes?
So, is there a dress code for the live?
No. Go for it, Phyllis.
No, there is not a dress code for the live classes. Students will not be required to be in uniform.
All right, can you guys talk a little bit about the time that classes will start? Will this be based on teacher school decision or MNPS as a whole?
Your teachers will reach out with their schedule. Many schools are also setting schedules for their pre-K through 4th grade. And so your school may communicate that schedule with you, or your child's teacher may communicate that schedule with you, depending on what the school has decided in terms of whether pre-K will follow the same pre-K through 4th schedule, or if it might be a little bit different. But that will be a school-to-school, classroom-to-classroom difference, but your child's school and or pre-K teacher will let you know that schedule as soon as they have it.
Will the school technology and lunches be sent to students, or will families have to come and pick them up?
I'm sorry, Lori, please repeat.
Will the technology and lunches be sent to families, or will they need to come and pick them up at the school?
Oh, great question. Each school site will be reaching out to families with more information on the school lunch pickup program and the technology deployment plans. So please look for information coming from your individual school sites.
For working parents, can older siblings help a pre-K student during the mornings?
Definitely. An older sibling can certainly be helpful working with your child during the virtual learning times. And if they are providing the supervision pace, we really want to make sure that your child is safe while they are participating in virtual learning. So as long as that older child is able to provide that supervision and maybe also some assistance during virtual learning, I think that that could be a great idea.
How do I get technology for my child?
Each individual school site will provide information on technology that will be available for every child, even our pre-K students. And this may be done by way of a survey or a phone call to get information from each individual family. But all of this will be taken care of through each individual school site.
Who do we turn the updated shot record into?
It can be uploaded on the MNPS website, and it can also be I probably wouldn't do this, but some families are mailing it in, but it can be uploaded on the MNPS website.
All right. We've got a couple of other questions regarding attendance. Holly, could you go over one more time about how attendance will be, how students will be attended for the day? We have families who are working parents and they work from 8 to 4:30 or different hours.
Absolutely. Attendance will be considered both on synchronous activities like the whole group or small group teams meetings, as well as asynchronous. And so you just would have to participate in one of those during the day to be considered having attended. So if you look at the Flipgrid video and post a student response, your child will be marked as attended for that day. We would love it if you're able to take advantage of all of the opportunities, the learning opportunities throughout the day, but we know that some parents work and may not be able to participate in some of those synchronous opportunities. And so if you are not able to participate in the synchronous learning opportunities at the time they are happening, that is okay. As long as your child logs into Flipgrid at some point during that day and posts their student response video that's a response to the teacher lesson, that will count for their attendance. And it may be that some days you may be able to participate in synchronous and asynchronous, and other days you may only be able to participate in asynchronous due to your schedule. So as long as you participate in at least one pre-K activity, as long as your child participates, they will be counted as attended for that day if they participate in at least one pre-K activity during that 24 hours.
So we have several questions around when can they expect teachers to contact families and receive their codes for Flipgrid.
Teachers come back on Thursday and they will be in the process of receiving their class rosters, usually towards the beginning of school. We're still updating rosters and making sure that they're finalized and that all seats are filled. And so as they receive these rosters, they'll be reaching out to families. So that will probably be either later this week or early next week that they'll be reaching out to families to be in contact about what to expect for the beginning of school.
All right, next question. I was told at daycare that children enroll in pre-K, I was told at the daycare that children who are enrolled in Metro Pre-K cannot attend daycare during school time. What if both parents are working during the day on the child? Can the child attend daycare until school opens in September and we are in person?
So I'm not really sure what the daycare directors may have meant when they said that statement, but families can attend Metro Pre-K or participate in the virtual learning, and I'm just wondering if the daycare was thinking that that maybe they would have to be the ones to help the child. But now that there's an understanding that children can participate in virtual learning and by asynchronous learning, I don't see a reason why families cannot enroll their child in a daycare program and participate in Metro's pre-K program virtually.
So I would love for my child to connect with her teacher, and we do work in our home. Do you think the teacher would work with us on dates and times to speak one-on-one if it happens to change last minute? Thanks if you've already answered.
Teachers will definitely be meeting with families one-on-one at least weekly. And so you will have a one-on-one time to connect with your child's teacher and for your child to connect with their teacher in a one-on-one atmosphere. I'm also sure that if you reach out to the teacher and ask about the possibility of maybe increasing that from once a week if needed, or if something comes up that you would like to speak with them about, they will also have office hours available available, and your child's teacher and school will communicate with you about when those office hours are. So in addition to your weekly one-on-one that the teachers will be doing, they will also have office hours so that if something comes up last minute and you want to connect with them, you'll have the opportunity to do that.
All right, is there a pre-K school supply list available?
So the supply list is posted by each individual school site, and you could probably go to the webpage, the MNPS webpage, and find your child's school and click on that and possibly see the school list posted on the child's school's webpage. Because it is, some schools may have varying school supplies.
And also, when you go to the MNPS page, it's under the back to school section. It has a quick area where you can go and see what schools have listed as far as their supply lists. And just take note that schools are going back, our teachers are coming back this week, so not all school supply lists are up there yet. So it might be not, it will probably won't be there till probably another week.
Will kids be interacting with each other at any point, or will it just be lessons from the teacher and response videos?
During the synchronous portions of the day, which would be the whole group time and the small group time, students will be interacting with one another. During whole group time, students won't have lengthy interactions with one another, but that is a time that we're going to work on building the classroom community so that students are getting to know each other's names and faces and getting to work with one another. Maybe they're brainstorming a list of ideas and sharing out their ideas. There will also be, during small group time, will be a really quality time for your student to interact with their peers. During this time, a teacher would have maybe 2 to 5 students, a much smaller group, and they'll really work on getting to know each other and some similarities and differences, and they'll be able to engage in conversation with one another. So there will be times during the synchronous learning opportunities where they will get to interact with their peers.
Are child care vouchers acceptable forms of payment?
Not with MNPS. I believe those are for private child care providers.
Is there any possibility of outdoor social meetups for small groups?
I think you got cut off, Lori.
Is there any possibility of small groups of children meeting socially?
That is not something. Oh, go ahead, Phyllis.
No, go ahead. I think we were going to say the same thing. You go ahead, Holly.
I was just going to say that's not something that we will be organizing, and there may be families who want to organize that, but that is not something that our early learning department will be organizing.
All right, my 4th grader has a laptop from his school last year. Can my pre-K son use it?
Oh, that sounds like a great idea. I would reach out to the school site and ask that question so that they can reassign the computer. But each individual school site will be handling their own technology deployment plan, and I would reach out to the school to see if that's a possibility.
What types of responses are expected on Flipgrid? Videos, pictures, etc.?
There will be a variety of responses. The videos are short, so the videos are the response. Sometimes, though, it might be that the teacher reads a story aloud and then asks students to draw their favorite part of the book. And so then a student would make a drawing of their favorite part of the story that they heard, and then on a video response, they might hold up that drawing and tell the teacher about it. So it can be a variety of things that would be submitted during those videos, but the videos are very brief responses to the teachers to have that asynchronous interaction.
Is there a virtual pre-K school supply list? Metro listed a K-5 and a 6-12 virtual school supply list.
So I would advise families to reach out to their individual school sites for that school supply list. I will say that Metro will be providing some basic school supplies to all students, such as crayons, pencils, and journal writing paper. But I would reach out to the individual school sites for more information on the school supply list.
When will you know if you have been accepted to a school that you may have been put on the wait list for?
So the system will contact the family either by email or by text to inform them that they have been selected. Or the family could go on the Metro website and view their child's enrollment status.
If we choose to keep our child in daycare for this fall semester due to both parents having to work, will we lose our seat?
As long as the family participates in some way in virtual learning, whether it's synchronous or asynchronous, you will not lose your seat.
There have been a few school groups organized on Facebook. They're very helpful. Is this something the ELCs will be doing, and do ELCs have PTOs?
So I do believe a few of our ELCs do have Facebook groups. I know Lori and I worked closely with Casa Azafran last school year, and they did have a Facebook group. I'm not sure if all 4 do, but I would contact the school site to see if they do have that. I'm sure that someone in the front office staff could tell you if they have that or not.
Thank you, Phyllis. So I do not have any new questions in the queue at this time.
Okay, so we want to thank you again for joining us for today's call. We would appreciate your feedback and would like to hear about additional topics you would like for us to cover in future live events. To capture your suggestions, we ask that you please complete our event survey. Also, if you think of any additional questions you would like us to answer, you can include them in the survey with your contact information, and we will get back to you. The survey can be accessed at https://bit.ly/MNPS Pre-K. Today's call will be archived and can be accessed on the MNPS Countdown to Kindergarten YouTube channel, and the website address is www.youtube.com/c/MNPS Countdown to Kindergarten. We look forward to seeing you and your child be a part of the MNPS Pre-K program virtual learning. Thank you for joining us.